time again for the best damn opening in Facebook Live YouTube history. That's right. It's that time again. Your host, the R8RBEAR. What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, my peoples. How are we doing tonight? Doesn't matter. Still gonna do the show. Oh, I appreciate you all tuning in tonight. We got some stuff to discuss and that sort of thing. But first, Tradish! R8RBEAR Live! First comment, woo! MVP tonight goes to your champion of the world, but no longer the two-time. No, not two belts. Heavyweight champion, but the middleweight belt, the silver medalist. Oh, we have a new one tonight. But first place, gold medal, Mark Vargas, my 5-emoji making son of a gun. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Silver medal. John the Lion. Leon. Always dropping L's, but never taking losses. Our guy, John the Lion. Leon. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for the R8RBEAR, our middleweight champion. Okay, so John, I'm putting the belt around your waist. Okay, that means you are the hunted now. Don't mess with me. Okay, I will strip you of that title. Mark Vargas has been the champ for a minute. So you got a lot of that belt. I am not playing. Third place. My bronze medal goes to Jorge George Prieto. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, my good friend, who brought me a sweet bottle of tequila just because you got love for your boy. And I appreciate you for that, brother. All right. Moving forward. Oh, honorable mention on YouTube to S.A. Big Dog and Troy Gill, who've been watching me for quite a while. So I really appreciate the love. Okay. Facebook. Number one, numero uno, el jefe, the champ. You already know. Carlos. Boykins. Woo! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, our heavyweight champion here at Facebook. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Keep it rolling. And what was almost a budding rivalry, so close. Second place, my silver medal goes to that sultry sounding son of a gun, Lucky Pace. What's up, P? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Much love to you. Always checking in on the R8RBEAR. Third place, my bronze medal goes to the G-Man himself in the medal round 2 nights in a row, Jim Garrison. G-Man, I like that. 2 nights in a row, 2 medals. I like that. Expect to see you my next show ready to go. Ooh, I like that. All right, fam. So what's up? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. R8RBEAR family page. And we do have some news tonight. We have a confirmation. I know we were all talking about it. What's going on with Max Crosby, what he's been saying to the Raiders. I can confirm that Max Crosby is, in fact, seeking a trade as of right now. So as of right now, if everything stays the same, Max Crosby is not long to be a Raider. Now, the bad part about that, beyond the fact that we obviously don't want to lose our best player, but the bad part beyond all that is just the fact that he's asking for it, which to me basically means you almost have to do it. And then more importantly, it kills our leverage. How are we supposed to get the best possible deal for the guy if he's telling the league he wants out, and by telling the league you want out, you're not really going to offer quite as big a package to the Raiders, to get him away from the Raiders, because they're going to know that the guy wants to go. He's forcing the Raiders to do it. And so I only hope that Spytek and Kubiak can come together and get the best deal possible, because I got to tell you, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I'm still, I know some of us are still on the fence about Spytek. Some of us think the guy's doing a good job. I've talked to different people with different answers about that, but I'm just going to stick with what I've said. I still feel like a GM has to get 2 or 3, at least 3 drafts, unless the first 2 are just cataclysmic, just terrible, terrible picks. But at least 3, so that I could say, okay, maybe the first one was bad, the second one was good. Now let's see what the third one's like. And then in that third one, this will be our second one with him. I feel like he already hit as far as with Ashton Ginty, with Jack Besh, with Dante Thornton. I feel like those were hits. Now, Brock Bowers, those are Jackson Powers Jackson. I mean, see, so in my opinion, he's off to a pretty good start. I realize we've struggled with Jackson Powers Jackson, but I feel like that has more to do with him than it does with us. So that's just my thing. Okay, so first, real quick, if I can remind you all to subscribe to Raider Bear Live. Now, there's many ways for you to do this. YouTube, just please hit like and subscribe right there. It'll help me with the algorithm and get ahead of some of these other Raider shows that should not be ahead of mine. I'm not going to look. You be modest for both of us. Okay, I'm not good at it. I'm the best thing going today when it comes to talking about Raider football, buddy. Okay, I keep it funny, I keep it light, and I keep it on point. Everything I say is right on point. All right, well, maybe not every time, but I'm pretty darn close. And I have gotten scoop du jour for 10 years now. I was right on like 8 different things I predicted, and all of them came true, especially this next one about Mark Davis either being hung by the cost of this stadium or he's going to make a ton load of money and we're going to be okay. But it's going to depend almost exclusively on what Kubiak does. He can't keep starting over with new coaches. He can't keep having cataclysmic seasons and then rebuilding, because all of that just means you're losing. And if you're losing, not good. All right, back to what I was saying. So please subscribe YouTube. If you would, look for me on Patreon, if you would. Patreon's a little bit cheaper, and I don't know, Facebook's kind of in the doghouse with me right now. I love my Facebook subscribers. I appreciate it if you continue to subscribe to Raider Bear Live on Facebook. But at the same time, if you'd like to pay a little bit less, just look for me on Patreon, Raider Bear Family, Raider Bear. It's easy, and it's just a couple bucks, and we really appreciate it, because I'm not trying to make money off the nation. And you see people, they'll never say this on their show, okay? But I'm not trying to make money off the nation. I'm trying to make money for my show, to keep it rolling, get new cameras, get new programs, pay for existing programs, et cetera, and to just have a justified reason to keep just doing all this hard work for you guys. So I really appreciate it. Much love. Subscribe, Raider Bear Family page. Okay, so now moving forward, Max has in fact said he does not want to play for us next year. Now, to me, that only means something when he said it. In other words, if it's Thursday and he says, I don't want to play here anymore, then on Friday, I still think I got a chance. He's still on the roster. He's still with us. I still have an opportunity, direct line, to go to him, bring him to my office, whatever the case may be, and try to talk him off the ledge. Now, do I want to, though? Because at this point, he may have his mind made up. I'm not saying he doesn't love our fans. I'm not saying he doesn't love Las Vegas or the stadium. I'm saying that he knows the reality of things. He is not just an okay player. He's a fantastic player. And his career is going to be associated with the success of the team he's on. You know what I mean? He's put up a lot of individual stats, but he's not going to get a ring with us unless we show him that we're not going to restart the regime every year or two. You know what I mean? We got coaches off the books we're paying, and on and on and on. Now, granted, we've got a lot of picks this year. We have good picks this year. We have $91 million. Some would say 92.5, somewhere in there. I even had one of my good friends, Bob Stannard, say he saw close to 100 million. I don't think that's correct. It may be correct closer to somewhere where we're both right. In other words, maybe it's 94.5, that kind of thing, kind of close to 100 million, kind of closer to 92 million, which is what I think it is. He thinks it's closer to 98, 99 million. So going to just go 92 million. Either way, obviously, that's a ton of money to throw at free agency, to throw at whoever you want to, make a deal with. And so there's going to be people available. The free agency aspect in 2026 should be fairly lucrative. Hold on, let me bring that tab back up because I just lost it. All right, there we go. Okay. Right. I'm just looking real quick. I'm just sort of flash looking. Well, it's funny. Coincidentally, Khalil Mack's going to be available. I guess the Chargers have had their time with him. Trey Hendrickson, who we talked about with the Bengals. Joey Bosa, not interested. It's not that he's not a good player, but he's just not on the field enough. And we all, hate him. At least I know I do. Put foots in ya, Joey. Let's see. George Pickens, the wide receiver. That would be very nice. Deebo Samuel, I think he's a little banged up. The Niners, I think, got the best out of him. And Mike Evans. Mike Evans is interesting. So just throwing a few names out there. Kyle Pitts, the tight end from the Atlanta Falcons. That would be super interesting. Of course, we already have two quality tight ends. So you could maybe trade Mayer and then have an offense that's legitimately 2-star tight ends in Brock Bowers and Kyle Pitts. I would love to see that. And so you see what I'm saying. With $91 million, you can make moves. You can make moves in the draft. You're going to have the number one pick. You're going to be able to get offensive linemen. And then with 91, 92, somewhere in that range, $1 million, you're going to be able to go in free agency and make a lot of moves. So far, so good. I'm excited about this early offseason information and aspects of things I've been able to figure out. Let me say hi to a few of you real quick here. Joe, handsome Joe Holman in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Chris Strong, always there for a Raider Bear. Chris Strong wrote it first. I saw yours first. Cody Palmer, my apologies to anyone who might have wrote Bear first. I saw Chris Strong's first, so I went with his. Steven! And missed it. I've got my little bell is like out of place right now. Shaw, what's up, brother? Appreciate the love. 2 nights in a row. Let's go. I'm telling you, Jim, I'm working. I wasn't going to say it. I'm just going to start working again like I used to. I used to work a lot more than this, but it's been a hectic 6 months. I'm telling you now. Chris Gomez, what's up? Look like quite the gentleman, I can see. Everybody leave him alone. No big deal. Teresa Miller just said no, vomit reflex. Welcome to the show. Pico, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Pico PKO. Tail E2P, what's up? Rapper Ice T, okay. Juju Julian, what's up? Browns 24-10. Okay. Are the Browns somehow playing right now? Josh Nakagawa, what's up? Welcome to the show. I can't believe did I almost say your name right? I think I almost did. Nakagawa. Nakagawa. Yeah, Nakagawa. I think I said that right. I'm kind of shocked I said it right. That's a great name. Lance Sanfilippo, what's up? Welcome to the show. Rudy, you know what? You could always go back to the Cowboys. It's all good, man. Growing that San Jose stash. I'm in the process, brother. I'm in the process. Jimmy Dean 77. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Max was not at the Kubiak press conference. Darren Patterson, that's a great point. I appreciate that. Not only was he not there, but he hasn't reached out to Coach and he hasn't spoken in an interview at all about Coach. So I would say that that's honestly an indicator that we need to just go ahead and get ready for this. Now, in my show last night, I was trying to point out that, in my opinion, business-wise, it's probably, I know some people are going to, disagree with me with this, and I have no problem with that, but I just feel like business-wise, you got to move in. You got to. You're in a total overhaul, rebuild. Because if you keep doing what we've been doing, which is basically fast rebuilds, let's be honest. We've been doing fast rebuilds around Derek Carr for 7 or 8, 9 years. And then now we're going to keep doing it around Max Crosby. Max Crosby's not like Derek Carr. He saw the writing on the wall and is saying, basically, you're starting a new regime. I don't know this guy. You didn't talk to me about it. I'm the best player on the team. I want out. And I'm not going to hate Max Crosby for that. I know some of us do. I know my guy, George Prieto, isn't happy with him. And I love you, brother. I don't have a problem with that. I know you're mad, and I get how you feel. But look, I got to change the number on my pillow now. You ever see that commercial with that My Pillow guy? Why does he always go like this every time he starts to make a reference to it? I was like, My Pillow, guys, is the best pillow in the world. I don't know. And he always sounds like he's crying. It's probably because he owes so much money in his lawsuits he's in. I wish I could say I didn't know what that's about. Max signed a deal. He knew what he was getting into. The NFL has turned into the NBA. What's the point of contracts if y'all going to do is whine to get out of it? Well, Oakland Raiders Savage super fan. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I can't argue with that. He did sign a contract. I felt like he signed the contract. By him signing the contract was a statement on his part that he did want to be here. But I think that now he's seeing they didn't really give Pete Carroll an honest opportunity. What happened last year is why he's leaving. He'll probably never say that, but it's because of the mishandling of Pete Carroll, the mishandling of the coaching staff. It looks like a clown show, guys. It just does. I love the Raiders. I have it tattooed on my body for life. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. Which, all of us fans feel all this pressure to say every time we're going to say something critical of the Raiders, which people should stop doing. But here's me being critical of the Raiders. That was a clown show. I like Pete Carroll personally. I thought Pete Carroll was going to do a good job. But then as soon as he got there and I saw that they weren't going to let him choose his staff, I kind of went, uh-oh. I mean? You can't bring in a new coach and then immediately cut his legs out from under him and say, go win or you'll lose your job. It was too much. John the Leon says we should have traded Crosby last year. I really honestly think that Tom Brady and Mark Davis were short-sighted on that. I feel like they got caught with their pants down. But at the same time, there's another way to look at this that I think is the correct answer. I think Tom Brady has always known that he was going to move on from Max Crosby. I really do. Because I think anyone with any common sense knows that you cannot come into a situation where a team hasn't won in over 15 years and you're going to change everything like that because you're so brilliant. That happens. It does happen, but it's very rare when a team goes from in the basement or close to in the basement, then climbs their way out and then stays in that level of mediocrity of 2-win season, 4-win season, 6-win season, blah, 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 blah. And the only way you're going to get out of that is completely washing the smell out of that stadium. And it was not a good start. The players didn't get off to a good start. They're seeing other teams' fan bases fill our stadium. And that's going to continue until we start winning. We have to show a proven winner. And if we don't do that, Mark Davis is going to be on the hook for all those bills that are going to come up for Bank of America if they haven't already. And I know we all think he's rich, but he's not that rich. Trust me. Just got draft Mendoza now after Clint hiring. Mauricio Cortez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I kind of agree with that. I do feel like Fernando Mendoza is going to bring an energy. You always get that when you bring in a quarterback, but especially one. I feel the same kind of vibe off him that I got off of Derek Carr as far as personality. He's personable, a good dude. You know what I mean? He'll be liked in the locker room. Now, that's important. It's not the only thing. It's good, but it's what's going to get him in the door with the team. A little bit of respect from day one. He's humble. Okay, now he'll get out there and he'll have to get to work. And then that's when I'll come on my show and I'll let you know from the reports we get from, the coaching staff, from the press, which I'm a part of, obviously, and other fans that go and see him personally. I know them too. And I'll get a little bit of an input on him right from day one, and we'll talk about that. But I have a good feeling about Mendoza. I really do. And I'm not going to go into the Heisman Trophy and what he did for his college team, because that's not really that relevant to me. A player shows what he's capable of being molded into when he's playing with the kids. But no matter what he does in the NCAAs, that does not mean he's going to be able to do that in the NFL. It's just a fact. Look up Vince Young. You know, arguably one of the most gifted, winning college quarterbacks of all time. Okay? He was better at formations in the strip club than he put butts in him. And I liked Vince Young, but he couldn't get it. He couldn't get his head into the game out of other things. Yo, Raider Bear, been a while. Hope all is well with you. Who do you think we get for defensive coordinator? I mean, you're hearing a lot of names. I thought the Brian Flores thing was interesting. I thought Brian Flores might be interested in coming in just because of the way Tom Brady approached him first and showed him all this respect. I think that Tom Brady genuinely likes him. I think he went with Kurt Kubiak because Kurt Kubiak is an offensive mind that just won a Super Bowl. But outside of that, he really likes Brian Flores. So I could see him maybe trying to get Brian Flores to come over, but it's hard to say this early. We'll get more reports as we go further into this offseason. I'll be able to get you more solid reports of people they're bringing in and who they're calling and so on. Man, I'm really hoping Crosby don't go. Pete Almeida, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Pete, I got to tell you, if I had to bet money on it, my money's on he's leaving. He's probably going to go because I don't think he asked for a trade. I think he knows that the Raiders organization thinks that trading him is the smartest move to do. And he's caught wind of it. And so now he's getting ahead of that and saying, no, I want to trade. You're not just going to hand me out to whoever and try to do it quietly behind my back. If that's what you're doing, I want out. You know what I mean? And I could honestly see a scenario where his agent probably just sees the writing on the wall. Maybe someone on the staff, you know, is loyal, tells Max, you know, they're talking about moving on from you, you know, but it really you bring in a haul of picks if you do that. If you move him on, you bring in at least 3, maybe 5 picks just from him alone. At least 2 of those 5 picks will be, you know, decent first or second round picks, maybe both, a first and a second, and then a 4 and a 5, something like that, 6, something like that. And if we get that for him, those are guys that can start. You know, you can find genuine starters, guys that have made it to the Hall of Fame in the 4th round, 5th round. You know, they're there. And especially now when you consider throughout this country, there's more colleges and more kids coming out and trying for the NFL than ever before. So the pool of talent that you have to sift through is bigger than it's ever been. So the odds of you finding people in those later rounds are really high now. Jesse Parker, my fashion designer. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. Glad to see you too, brother. My champion says, Bear, they reported earlier that Max wasn't getting traded. Carlos, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this show for 10 years. I've been watching football for 30, more than 30, but I've seen lots of teams say what they're not going to do, okay? And I'm just saying, we have Tom Brady up there now, and he has the right to make some decisions, and I just can't see a scenario where that guy sees an opportunity to get a haul and doesn't pull the trigger. I don't trust Tom Brady. I don't trust. I don't care if he's a Raiders owner now. I don't care if he wears our black and acts like he's loyal to us. I don't care about any of that. Okay, until I actually see actions taken by him that pan out in positive things, I'm not hearing it. You know, I said it on my show the other night. I'm not going to walk around and act like he's this genius of football just because he won a lot. Because we know for a fact, okay, an inarguable fact that he cheated to win at least 3 of his Super Bowls. And I don't want to hear about, oh, that was so long ago, blah, blah, blah. Cheating is cheating. Okay, let's make a deal. I'm going to punch you in the face this year, and then in 10 years, I'm going to call you and ask you if you're still mad about it, okay? Yes, Raider Bear, I'm really mad about it. I'm ready for the rematch. No. I mean, but it's just true. You don't get over stuff like that. And that's probably why Max wants out, because The fact that he even heard that this is being discussed probably really pissed him off. It probably really pissed him off. You know what I'm saying? And if he says, I'm not going to play for these guys in 26, I realize he's on contract. I realize he can't control his fate. And if we open the season, he has to play or hold out. And guys, he's got a lot of money, man. And, you know, and it doesn't look good on teams when they fine players. They can fine him, but it never looks good on a team when they do that. It never looks good. It always makes the fans mad. You know what I mean? Like, now you're going to take his money too. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a bad situation. I think that the smartest course of action is to show him respect and let him make decisions on where he wants to go. And like, for example, I know one of the teams that got thrown around was the Niners. Then let him go. You know, let him go. If he's going to say that and make it in a straight face as a Raider, talk about how he wants to be a Niner, you know, get the picks, fleece the Niners for picks, and then let's rebuild this team and get running. Alpha and Omega, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. You know, honestly, brother, I really appreciate you asking. We're all doing really great. We really are. Most of the stuff that kept me off the air for a while was family business. I also had some legal stuff to do. And before your mind starts wandering around, it was me prosecuting someone else that I felt like did me wrong, and I won. But, you know, legal things, I don't know if you've ever been a part of legal things, but they can take years sometimes. So I was lucky to get mine done inside of a year. So, but I did, and it worked out real well. I blame Davis, and since he relies on him so much, I blame Brady for not getting a book in for, yeah, you know, honestly, Joe, you have held your hat on this for months now. I completely agree with you. They should have gotten him a defensive end, butted up there. But see, now with $91 million in cash, now you can. And so I'm kind of hoping that Kubiak will sit down with Max, calm him down, and say, look, man, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find a monster to put on the other side of the field with you. And then I'm going to find another guy that just backs him up just in case. And we're going to get this rolling. Because with $91 million, you can do that. Remember, you don't have to pay any one guy the whole 91. Even if you agree to a $91 million, you're paying him in parts and payments. So that $91 million in cap space can still be spread out through 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. And then you just pay them all in installments and payments. You know, it's all just bank money getting moved around. That's all. This is real doable. We're in a great position to do some really good things. Okay, so I want to read a comment that came out about Spytek. I thought this was interesting for you guys. It says, John Spytek has the Raiders fans believing again with Clint Kubiak as their hire. And he says, quote, he stood out with his leadership, his humility, and his work ethic, and his intelligence of the game. We called many people around the league and got nothing but glowing reviews on him. It made it a difficult call. It made a difficult call very easy for us. So I thought that was great. You're giving him the vote of confidence. You're saying you looked at his resume. You've reached out and done your diligence with the rest of the league, and everything's come back well about Clint Kubiak, and as well it should have. The Kubiak family has already proven whether they won at one franchise or lost in another, that was irrelevant. They always produced good offenses that were innovative, that can score, and they know how to teach their students. In other words, in those times when they're in the facility and they're in the classroom, they know how to keep their players' attention and say, hey, on this play where we're doing this, you're supposed to roll here, be here, and do this. And the players oftentimes, they fail on certain plays, on certain responsibilities on the field because the coach isn't able to impart that knowledge on them. The Kubiaks have never had that problem. Now, I shouldn't say never, but you don't see it very often. The Kubiaks tend to run successful offenses wherever they end up. The Cowgirls are going to tag Pickens. I had actually heard that, Jesse, but I don't like to say it as fact until they actually do it. Thomary Bolo Winslow, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. How do you feel about DC4's name being thrown around recently? I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not cool to go at a guy when his career is over. What's he supposed to do now? Go back and try to prove people wrong about things they're saying about him and things like that. I didn't like that. And him and his brother have kind of gone on this whole podcast thing. I have no right to say anything. I'm a podcaster. But at the same time, I don't think this is a good thing for Derek. I don't understand why some of these guys can't just be happy with their beautiful wives. He's got a beautiful wife. His family, all his kids are beautiful. They're all pretty young still. So he's not one of those players that like missed out on his kid's life. He's still, his kids are all still young. He can do all the Disneyland stuff. I don't know how many he has. It's like, what is it? 5 kids, 4 kids? But I know they're all still kind of within that range where even his oldest first child would still be like, oh, Disneyland, you know what I mean? So he's not missing anything as a dad and a husband. I just think he should stay away from this stuff. I don't think it's good for him. Libya said he had coffee with Max this morning. Yeah, you know, Tom, I appreciate that. Welcome to the show. And I got to be honest with you, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think it's a smart decision if they do move on from him, just because I don't like the fact that we could get so much for him in this rebuild. Whereas if we do it with him still on the roster and spend the $91 million, we're kind of doing some guesswork, putting Band-Aids on spots that need surgery again, and then hoping it works out. And I don't want to do that. Now, if we're going to do that because we keep Max, then let's just do it the smart way with a package for the team that works with Max. Get him a defensive end or 2 to put on that side of the field. And we can't act like, you know, Max is ageless. You know what I mean? He's been in the league for a second now. He's not old. He's in his prime. But I still don't think we should be asking him to go 100 on every friggin' play. We need to have another guy. I want the defensive line to be great. I want at least 3 defensive ends. 2 on the right side, 1 to back him up, and then the defensive tackle position, that to me is just easier to fill. I'm not devaluing the defensive tackle position, but if you go out there with that $91 million, you're going to be able to find a guy or 2 who can really put their thing on the ball and stop the run in the middle, at least enough times that we'll be able to keep a lot of teams' offenses in check and still get off the field, whether they get a run here or there or not. What about Jim Schwartz for defensive coordinator? He said he wants out of Cleveland. I'd like to see us go with a more aggressive defense than we've been rolling with in the past. Jim, that's a great point. I did see that. I even saw his press conference. That's kind of like the Kubiak deal. Schwartz has been coaching defense for a long time. I mean, so you bring in a guy like that, it's not about whether or not his defense will work. It's about whether or not his coaching mannerisms, his way of teaching the players, if it goes over well in our locker room, our defense will be good because he knows how to coach. He really does. It's like when we had Rob Ryan, twice. But whenever the Ryan family goes anywhere, they know defense. Now do you have the personnel? And will he have the right to run the defense he wants to run, make the calls he wants to make? If you put faith in Ryan, or really all of the Ryan family in that regard, they're going to call a defense and they're going to shut you down. Kubiak said in the press conference that he had coffee with Max this morning. Yeah, okay, I get that. That doesn't mean we have a deal or that Max has changed his mind. I was the first to say, guys, that I know Max can say on Thursday, I don't want to play there anymore, and change his mind on Friday. It happens. You know what I mean? So just because a guy says, nope, I'm done, that's it, that doesn't mean after cooler heads prevail that he can't change his mind and end up staying a Raider. I very likely see that happening, because I just don't see it as a smart decision to continually do a rebuild and each time, like they did with Khalil Mack, dump out, some of your better franchise players. And then, you go into this pointless rebuild that ends up doing next to nothing. So we got to see more movement. But I think if we move quite a bit of the roster, flip quite a bit of the roster, we can do this. Troy Gill said, just new coach said he cupped coffee with Max. Yes. Bear, do you think John Harbaugh is going to have a good first year with the Giants, or will it take 2 or 3 years to get it rolling? As a rule, I would say, Lance, it was probably going to take him a year or 2 to start to draft in his own type of players, his own eye on talent through free agency and so on. But the Giants have a halfway decent roster right now. They've got their quarterback. They've got that weird Scattaboo guy at running back who got hurt and it ended his season. But prior to that ending his season, the kid looked like he was going to be pretty dynamic for them. They've got some wide receivers, and their defense isn't too bad. So I think he could come in. I think he could put that sort of hard mentality that he gave the Ravens. I think he can put that on with them. Kubiak said he had coffee with Max. I just keep ending up reading that. Let's see. Bowers, Ginty, and Crosby were at the press conference. They even reported that him and Kubiak had coffee this AM. Okay, I'm glad they had coffee. That means they got to sit down and talk it out. Did he say he changed his mind? I don't think so. He may have. He may have. I hope he has. And I hope the team has. I hope the team's not thinking in that regard. I'm giving you the analytics. I hope that when I say that you understand. I'm not necessarily saying where my heart is. I'm saying what business says is probably the best move. Business says you do not make decisions with your heart. Our heart's with Max Crosby because he's amazing, a great player and a great guy. Great, comes from a great family. But would it make a lot of sense to move him now in his prime? Not just Max good, Max at his best. And you're going to get the best pull of picks and so on if you move him now. Again, not saying I like that. I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense. Mauricio Cortez said, Pete failed by moving JPJ, hiring his son, and starting Gino for too long. Mauricio, that had a lot to do with it, but they also were not running the offense he wanted to run. And he did not like the fact that Chip Kelly was brought in without his say. I don't think he wanted that guy. I think that Chip Kelly's idea of offense and Pete Carroll's idea of offense are totally different. And we saw that. Chip Kelly likes innovative offense that moves fast, that has a lot of misdirection and motion and play action. Pete Carroll doesn't. He likes to run the ball, play defense, and throw when it's necessary strategically. That's it. Very different philosophies. Ellis Irving, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. What up, Raider brother? I hope you have a blessed Tuesday. I appreciate the love, brother. Bless you right back. Hi, Dios mío. Karina, what's up, girl? Raider Miguel said, Bowers, Deuces, and Max, they were there. What do you think about Chambliss from Ole Miss at quarterback? I don't really know enough to speak on Chambliss. I'd have to look him up. I know who you're talking about, but I haven't watched enough of him. Bradley Wolf, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Khalil Mack trade, I hate it and hope it doesn't happen. Alpha, I got to tell you, brother, I'm struggling with this one because I honestly think that Tom could step right into the room and overrule everyone and say, do it. I don't care about one defensive player. I won 10 rings without ever having a super dominant, defensive player. Now, he did have Rodney Harrison. He did have Willie McGinnis, who was a very good player. The defensive lineman that they had that came to us, I really like him, but his name's slipping me right now. But it wasn't Tuck. Tuck came over from the Giants. But anyway, he had Richard Seymour. Stop typing. Stop typing, Richard Seymour. I got it. No, stop typing. But, I mean, that's just a lineman here and a lineman there. You know what I mean? For a decade of winning, which they did, and, a bunch of rings, he really only did have a handful of defensive linemen. And they weren't exactly sack artists. You know what I mean? They were guys that could get pressure. They mostly deflected balls and helped with the running game. But they didn't really have a Khalil Mack. He never really had that kind of guy on his defensive line. If you ask me, I mean, the Patriots had some good, like I said, Willie McGinnis, I think he was good. But I don't, for example, I don't think Willie McGinnis is probably the best defensive guy he had next to Richard Seymour, maybe. There's an argument there. But I don't think Richard Seymour or Willie McGinnis is better than Khalil Mack. I mean, or Max Crosby. I don't think they're better than either of our Raiders. So I would probably bite the bullet and keep Max. But that's my heart talking, not business. Ain't Davis and Brady doing the same thing to Kubiak by sticking him with Spytek as GM instead of letting him pick his own like every other coach does? Now, you're absolutely right about that, Joe, but I do think there is one thing that's going to be different here. They're not going to bring in someone to tell them what offense to run. That's one. So Clint is already right there, Mr. Kubiak, getting more respect than Pete Carroll did. Okay, that's one. Two, whoever the defensive coordinator is, he's going to have a say in that because he's going to be here when they go into that process of making, because they've hired him right away. Whereas with Pete Carroll, they were kind of on the fence about who they were going to hire. They were talking to Ben Johnson and different people. And then we decided to hold on to the defensive coordinator we have. And then we reached out to Pete Carroll, and then we brought in Chip Kelly. I mean, it was just a whirlwind of just, you know what I mean? I can't think of a better word than just, it's crap, bad, sucks. And so now throw all that out, overhaul, rebuild, not a little one. Keep Max, but absolutely everyone else, everyone. I mean, obviously, you know, Ginty just got here. He's a brand new kid, you know, just under contract. Brock Bowers is arguably the best tight end in football right now, okay? As far as gifted tools, had he had a better quarterback than Geno Smith, and think about what he did with Geno Smith. I mean, if Brock Bowers had Derek Carr, okay, for Derek Carr's last 2 seasons, Brock Bowers would have broke every tight end record. And I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but every tight end record would have been under threat of Brock Bowers breaking it. He's that good. So if Fernando Mendoza gets here and just understands every play, look for who your guy is, and then if you have any problems, you find Brock Bowers. And we'll be okay. Because we can make the defensive deals, Joe. We can get defensive end help. We can get guys on the line. We can do that with the amount of money we have now. Defensive line, offensive line, keep Fernando on his feet, and that's it. And find pieces. But we have some really good young ones. So if you stick with those and then add a little bit of veteran help around those young players, we could have something like that. Because unlike other rebuilds we've done in the past, we haven't had a young quarterback of the future. Darren Patterson, I know 2 first-round picks is what we should get for Crosby. Do we take a solid quarterback if the money is right, like the guy out of Atlanta, to groom him because not everyone hits the ground running? Darren, that's a great point. You're talking about Kirk Cousins, I believe it is. I've liked Kirk Cousins for a while. First, because he keeps getting $90 million contracts. And I'm super jealous. Anyone that knows who his agent is, I would hire him immediately for whatever you do. That guy gets guys paid. Kirk Cousins, he's gotten 3 or 4 separate $90 million contracts. Think about that. He's a little tiny. I mean, he's all right. He's good. But come on, he's Kirk Cousins. He's 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing. You know what I mean? But he gets the ball there and he's smart. So bring him in. But what he was doing in Atlanta, I'll be the first to admit, he started to look like he was slowing down a little bit in Atlanta. But in reality, that could be good too, because you don't want him to come in and play perfect, because then you have Fernando just sitting on the bench like, guys, I'm not scared. I see it. Okay, we're in week 6. Can I get out there now? The old man is starting to flag. You know what I mean? But Kirk Cousins, that guy's played a lot of good football, man. He wasn't too good with Atlanta, but I think part of that was he was pissed. He didn't like the fact that they brought in that quarterback right behind him when they said they weren't going to, and then they did. And so if they brought him to the Raiders, he would know right off jump, they're going to bring in this kid of the future. I'm here to keep the seat warm and try to win games and show him how it's done, show him how to be a good professional. And I think Kirk Cousins would understand that with us, because he kind of went through the honeymoon with Atlanta of finding out that, hey, Kirk Cousins, you're not a kid anymore. So anywhere you go from here on out in your career, you're being brought in to keep the seat warm until they figure out who the future is. That's not a disrespect to his game. It's just his age now. Kubiak said he had coffee with Max this morning. I keep reading that. Okay, the next person that tells me about the morning coffee is off the show. But listen, Jay Glazer needs to shut up his effing mouth before he gets foots put in him for spreading rumors about Max Crosby. Yeah, I don't like Jay Glazer, to be honest with you. Raiderzilla Bobo, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. And look at that profile picture. Goodness. The missus has you looking good, brother. You put up a lot of promo pictures, but that one's the best. She's pretty, bro. James Gray, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. And he says, well said. I appreciate the love, brother. And I like the hair. Juan Curly Miranda, best era of the Raiders is when they were cheating. Juan, what's up, brother? You got me on that one. You got me on that one. I don't know. I mean, you know, the stick 'em and stuff like that. You know, I don't consider that cheating. You know what I mean? Even if that was a rule. I mean, you had guys, the Patriots had guys with binoculars and video equipment and sound equipment to get people's signals, and they were getting formations. I mean, that is really cheap. They were stealing tablets from the other team. They were getting out of the locker room, allegedly. You know what I mean? What were we doing? We were putting on stick 'em and hitting guys with elbows and stuff. You know what I mean? That was just man football. That's what they were mad about. That's why they said we were cheating, because they didn't like that we were roughing them up. And I know we all want to go back to that, but it's been legislated out of the game. The way the rules have been changed, we're never going to see the Raiders play like the Raiders again. They just can't do that. They can be great and they can reach for greatness and so on, like we have in the past. But it's not going to be physical, like, you know, like when we had Jack Tatum and all those guys. They can't do that. Raider Miguel, it's not up to me. I'm not going to trade him, I swear. Diana Rossini already had to backtrack her statement on Max, so everyone else needs to shut their mouths as well. 100. Shane Street, that's my guy right there. Woo, there's another guy looking good in his profile picture with a beautiful wife. Wayne Pittman, hopefully Messidor from Miami falls to them, then trade Crosby. Wayne, I don't think it's going to come to that. If he gets traded, it's going to be, they're not going to wait until the draft and have him hanging there. Like, there's no way. He's too good. If it was someone else, if it was just a guy, you might do that, but they're not going to do that to Max. In fact, like how everyone's telling me now he had coffee with her, coffee with Kubiak. I would argue that what most of you are implying is that the coffee meeting means that they shored things up. You know, bygones be bygones. Max will probably back off of his trade request. I agree with that. I think that will probably happen. I think he just got frustrated. And let's be honest, we have seen Max make, you know, knee-jerk statements at the end of seasons in the past. I know we had the coach that was our special teams coach that everybody wanted to stay on as our head coach. Well, that wouldn't have been a good idea. The guy had no experience as a head coach ever. Rich Bisaccia, excuse me. Stop typing Rich Bisaccia. Stop typing it. Putting foots in you. But Rich Bisaccia, it would have been bad, guys. It just would have been bad. Rich even said it. Rich Bisaccia even said it. It's not that he would have turned the job down if he got it, but he did make it very clear after he didn't get the job, he wasn't the guy. He loved the team and they loved him, but he's not a head coach. He's never been a head coach at any level I've checked, not even high school, guys. If you haven't been a head coach at any level, not even high school, you aren't ready to be a head coach in the NFL. You're just not. He knows the guys and they love him and he loves them, but not head coach. Wayne Pittman in the second round. Okay. Fernando Ramirez asked if he can get a Raiders. I mean, yes. Steven Shaw and Mrs. Shaw. Hey, guys. Appreciate the love on the stars. Let's see. I've been saying to go get Trey Hendrickson all season. I was too, bro. That was my number one target. Swear. Even when they were spreading little tiny rumors about TJ Watt. No. Hendrickson to me is surefire. You're getting 12 sacks out of that guy, or at least 10. You know what I mean? To help Mac on the other side, he will be free agent and we can sign him for a steal of a price. I'd like to think it's going to happen because I know we flirted with him before he re-signed. Or went over to the Bengals. I know we were flirting with him and he was flirting with us. So I don't feel like, and you guys have seen me say this on this show for 10 years, sometimes a player uses us for leverage to get a better deal with the team he actually wants to go to by saying, hey, the Raiders really want me for 11 million. You better give me 12 million or I'm going to go over there for 11, maybe 13 million. Who knows? You better sign me now. And then they do. And then the Raiders miss out. But I think this will be different with 91 million. You can pay to get him here. And I think they will. I think they've heard enough people say, get Max help, and they'll do it. Fernando Ramirez. Star on Fernando Ramirez's comment. Let's see. Tim Newport. Hi, Tim. Hi, Peggy. Hi, babies. I mentioned this during the season. I don't trust Brady either. Call me a conspiracy guy, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's trying to sabotage us on purpose. And once she has thoroughly ruined us, he'll sell his share and ride off into the sunset laughing his ass off. There are Raider fans who feel like Tom bought interest into the Raiders with a win-win situation in his own mind. In other words, if the team gets better and starts to win, he's going to get a ton of credit. And if the team loses, he won't catch much of the blame because people see him as the winningest quarterback, in football history. So somehow he's supposed to be Teflon Don and everything he does is smart because he won so much football. Shut up. I'm with Alpha. Shut up. Thomari Bolo Winslow. We've been lacking at defensive tackle for a while now. I'd love to see us add a quality defensive tackle for a change. I liked Jenkins when we brought him in from the Dolphins. I know he's gone now, but I liked when we brought him in. I thought he was really good for us. I didn't think we utilized it, but I thought he was good. Steven Sweet. Bear! What's up, Steve? Welcome to the show. Miguel Garcia, 559, Fresno RN Farrell, checking in. What's up, brother? Darren Patterson said Schwartz has 2 years left on his deal with the Browns. Tricky. Not really, Darren, because he's made it clear he wants out. I think the Browns probably will not like that. You know what I mean? I realize you always frown on that, but you never know. It's like if LeBron wanted to leave the Lakers, Jenny Buss isn't going to suddenly go, oh, no. You know what I mean? She wanted him to leave last year. So before the start of this season, I should say. So I could see where Cleveland would just want us to buy him out in some way and then maybe give them a low pick or something. Bear, are we bringing the defensive coordinator from the Browns along with Garrett? Now, if we got Myles Garrett, that would be game over. If you get Myles Garrett, I don't even care about the defensive tackle position because you can have guys that will just come out of their blocks and hold on to their block or their blocker and just pin them. Just stay there. Don't let them take you out. Don't let them pancake you. If the defensive tackle can just get a stalemate, then Max Crosby and Myles Garrett, Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, that's all day. That's sacks and pressure all day. That means the ball coming out early. That means safeties and defensive backs being able to keep their eyes on the backfield and maybe make a play on a ball because they know their defensive ends are going to get there, cause pressure, which shortens the time for the play and the ball comes out. That is why Joe Holman and myself are preaching fix the line. And the reason I say the line is because I mean both. I'm not saying one or the other. No. The game is won in the trench. You can't run. You can't keep your quarterback up. You can't keep the other team from scoring, and you can't knock them down if you don't control the line on both sides. And to me, that's the most important thing. Everything else, wide receivers, running backs, defensive backs, safeties, corners, nickelbacks, linebackers, all of that can be fed into the defense and the offense when the line props them up. The line on both sides of the ball has to prop up the talent on their side of the ball. Defensive line for the defenders, offensive line for the skill positions. You must prop them up, and it's all about the line. The quarterback can't get the ball there to Dante Thornton while he runs a nifty route and gets loose and puts his hand up and says, hit me, and our guy Fernando's on his back. You see what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong. I'm with Joe. I think we need to pair somebody up. If it's Myles Garrett, so be it. But that'd be a hell of a get. Darren Patterson, you still wrote Richard Seymour. Don't think I didn't notice that. Lucky Pace, what's up, brother? Look at all the sorry teams in the league. Graham had our defense ranked 14th, working with peanuts. Schwartz had his sorry Browns team defense ranked 5th, but with elite defensive personnel. We have nowhere near the talent for Schwartz defense. Watch next season what Graham does. With Pittsburgh, we let our defensive coordinator answer. Just walk, shaking my head. Well, most of what you said I could understand with Schwartz, but you're saying what he would do with what we have now. I don't think we're going to have what we have now. So if he comes over here and we give him Trey Hendrickson or Myles Garrett, maybe a good safety, maybe a good linebacker, and Max Crosby's happy again, maybe he's able to work with that. You know what I mean? Look at Steven Shaw just looking out for our brother. Steven Shaw! And Mrs. Shaw. Appreciate the love, brother. Tho Mary, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Over under on Deuce Gruden staying as a strength and conditioning coach. He's survived a few regimes now. Over or under? I would probably say over, just because, like you said, he's become a fixture. I thought when Gruden was done, I thought they were going to wait a month or two, find some reason, and just quietly let him go. But all you ever hear about is that he does his job well. The players in the locker room likes him. So I wouldn't see a controversial reason in keeping him. He is not his father. So Steve Sweet had coffee with Max and Kubiak too. Geno Smith isn't worth a fish sandwich, not even a McDonald's one, and won't be on any team's roster or practice squad. Oh, no. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Most of the league will blame what happened to Geno on us. I would be willing to bet you money on that. Most of the league will bet they'll assume that what happened to Geno is our fault. You know what I mean? I would be surprised if they don't. Fernando Ramirez sending love. Appreciate that. Shout out to Jimmy Mata. Raiders! What's up, Jimmy Mata? Is he in the house? That's my guy right there. James Gray said, amen, Bear. Appreciate the love. And Bill Cox. Hey, Bill. What do I always say, Bill? What do I always say? Before I say, we put foots in him. I've said it every time. We have got to get better than Malcolm Kuntz. And if he's not off the roster yet, he will be soon enough. Or I will hire a hitman myself. Just take his knees out. What was that girl, Tanya Harding, that was waiting by the gate right when he came in? Bow! Tanya Harding, just go for the knees. I kid you not. We cannot have any more of Malcolm Kuntz. And I may put up a GoFundMe for bail money because I just threatened Malcolm Kuntz. It's my bad, Malcolm. I'm sorry. I just hate you. That's all. It's not a big deal, Malcolm. I just think you stink. If this is going to be my new music or not, but I'm using it right now because I'm going to stop using my other music because they keep stealing money from me. And I said, I'm not having that anymore. I'm not this artist, just for a song. I did it for almost 10 years, but now I'm done with that song. I'm moving on, and I don't know if it's going to be this, but I'm already feeling this a little bit. What do you think? It's kind of good, huh? I guess that juice going like my old track used to do. I kind of like it. And shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. And remember, there ain't much greater than being a